Once you put on a trade, anything can happen, and it doesn't matter what your system historical rate is, how good the chart looks, or what data you think you have. The very next position that you go in can move against you. This is an unavoidable fact. Hey there, Tom here from FIBONACCI'S.com here with the daily market recap. Please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, and without any further ado, let's see the charts. CPI, PPI, red decision is all behind us, but we are left with trend lines and Fibonacci levels. And as we can see, trend lines are the true support resistance for price action and also the roadmap for future price action. Two consecutive dojis off a trend line, and it doesn't matter if we have good CPI, good PPI, red decision as expected. Trend lines are support and resistance. Yesterday's opening gap got filled. Now 430 needs to hold. We might get some kind of a pullback towards the 430, below 430. This gap at the 423 will get filled. We have 2 more days in this week. Let's see if bulls can break up above and close the week above this yellow trend line. Then we are going towards 447. QQQ. Trend lines, resistance, support, Qs are heading up towards 372. We don't even need Fibonacci. We don't need any other indicator. All we need to do, train our eyes to look left. Try to identify where price came from. And then we can, with high probability, know where price might be heading next. Next resistance, 372, 371. From resistance, resistance, resistance. Next, 370, resistance. You can take Fibonacci if you want. No need, but only if you want. And as you can see, Fibonacci gives us the exact same resistance and support for future price action. 371 to the upside, 358 to the downside needs to hold. Otherwise, price will retest this yellow trend line. Dow Jones, 344 to the upside now. Resistance, once again resistance. Yesterday's opening gap got filled. UNH pulled price of the Dow towards this red trend line. Now let's see if this red trend line can hold a support, bounce back towards the 343. IWM, 1 week of a sideways move, 184 to the downside, 188 to the upside, long continuation above the 188 towards 192, breaking below the 184, 180 is next, below 180, we are going to fill the gap at the 176. Follow price, use levels and trend lines. You have another trend line over here. From resistance, 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 support, resistance. Now holding a support below this trend line and below the 184. As you can see, trend lines and Fibonacci levels. This is all we need. All the rest of the indicators are pure lagging. Ethereum breaking to the downside, melt down, continuation, 1630 together with this red trend line needs to hold below 630, sliding down towards the 1525. Bitcoin breaking below the yellow trend line, and now, as expected, as we talked about in the past few weeks or so, breaking below this yellow trend line, we are going to slide down on this red trend line. Below this red trend line, you can take Fibonacci, swing low, swing high, or swing high, swing low. 24,500 needs to hold. Then we are going towards the 23,200, and then towards this purple trend line. Google, 121 to the up to the downside, 126 to the upside. As you can see, Fibonacci gives us support, resistance. We can take short below 121 towards 117 and maybe closing this gap at the 113. Long continuation above 126, 127 to the upside towards 133 and 143 to the upside. And of course, everything you see and hear on this video and on my channel is for educational purposes only. Always do your own due diligence. Never follow blindly anyone on social media, paid or free services, and it doesn't matter how many subscribers, followers they have. Do your own due diligence, educate yourself, get education to become your own indicator. Check the links in the description below. Fibonacci traders, we have numerous free and paid services. Choose your own path. Choose what is best for you. Apple holding above the 181, 185 to the upside resistance, 181 to the downside support, below 181, 179 needs to hold. Then we are going to fill the gap at the 176, closing week above new all-time highs. Next week, in my opinion, 194 will be next. Tesla, if you follow me on Twitter and you saw previous videos, here we are. Gap at the 262 is filled. Now, clean the chart. 250 needs to hold. We have this trend line as resistance. 250 needs to hold. Otherwise, we are going to fill the gap at the 235. Weekly close above this green trend line. In my opinion, 304 is next. Microsoft bouncing between the 323 and 336 to the upside. Weekly close above 336. Next will be this trend line, purple trend line, together with the 350. 322 needs to hold. Otherwise, this gap at the 316 will get filled. AMD, 118 to the downside, 130 to the upside. As we can see, since May 25th, nothing much on AMD. The battle between bulls and bears are in full power on AMD. Bears wants to fill the gap at the 108. Bulls need to defend the 118 and maybe close weekly above the 131. Then we are heading towards 148 to the upside. Nvidia breaking up and above this box towards, no need to guess, we have Fibonacci. 460 is next. 460, we don't need to look left because Nvidia never been this high. But this is why we use Fibonacci. 460, then 518 to the upside. Fibonacci gives us what we need for future price action. No other indicator can give you future price action. All other indicators are, without any doubt and without any exceptions, they are all lagging. We can look left where price came from. Netflix. This is why we have trend lines. Look left. This red trend line from support, resistance, 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 broke up and above. We have Fibonacci 420 to the downside now. And here we are once again, another trend line. This trend line, look left, support, support, now resistance breaking up and above. No need to guess. 453 to the upside, above it, 500 is next. Amazon, bulls of Amazon, with all their power they have, managing to close and stay inside and above this yellow trend line. Trend lines, this is it. I know I sound like a broken record, but trend lines is everything. once you understand the in-depth relationship between candlestick analysis, aka pure price action, trend lines, Fibonacci, this is all you have, this is all you need to become your own indicator. 125 together with this yellow trend line needs to hold, otherwise breaking down and under, we are going towards 120. Long continuation above 128 towards 132 together with this red trend line. This red trend line goes all the way back. As you can see, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. It will become a very tough resistance for the bulls. Above this red trend line, we are going 138 together with this yellow trend line. Meta, we have double top scenario of the 275. As you can see, since beginning of June, 275 to the upside, very tough resistance. Bulls need to hold above the 258. Below 258, we are going towards this white trend line and maybe all the way towards 244. You can take Fibonacci. Fibonacci, it gives us everything that we need for support, resistance, and makes our life as traders much easier. 265, 258, 251 with this white trend line to the downside. Above 276, we are going towards this white trend line. Above it, 308 and maybe 317. But one candle at a time, 1 week at a time, managing risk. This is all we need to do. This is the only thing as traders we have full control of: risk management, nothing more, nothing else. Shopify finally breaking up above and closing above the 65.50. As you can see, this area of the 65, 66, very tough resistance. Shopify closing up and above. Now let's see continuation towards 69. 62.80 is now our risk. Below it, we still have a double top scenario on Shopify. Bulls of Shopify needs to negate this scenario by continuing up towards 69 and 73.80 to the upside. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like, subscribe, share with friends, help me grow this channel so more people can become their own indicator. Until the next video, do good things.